Netflix, Mother-Daughter Day. Hell no, because this didn't turn out good. It is your boy, Icon, with a DC animated TV review for you, going over that Kite Man. And before we get started, as always, hit that notification bell, subscribe to my channel, like, leave a comment, and all that gravy. And let's get started with some Kite Man. So, in this particular episode, Golden Glider and her mother, Rebecca, she's trying to get to know her mother, and she wants to like try to bond and like have a relationship. So Kite Man comes up with the idea of saying like, hey, you guys should have a mother-daughter day. So Golden Glider, she plans this whole big thing. Like, she talks to her mom. She's like, hey mom, would you like to get together and do stuff? Her mom really doesn't care. She's actually on the internet trying to find an apartment so she can get the hell out of like Kite Man's apartment as quickly as possible. But then, when her daughter was just like, hey, let's just do stuff. We can go get piercings and tattoos and blah, blah, blah. Then I guess like the mom, she doesn't want to be with her. Like, she doesn't want to be a mother. She doesn't want to be a parent. And then she saw Malice, and then she told Malice, she was like, oh, why don't you come with us? Because she actually didn't want to be alone with her child by herself. I don't know why Captain Cold wasn't even mentioned in any of this, because I'm pretty sure he would like to see his mother. But so the three of them, they go down to a piercing shop, and then like Golden Glider's like, oh, I'm not gonna get a piercing, and then she's just like, oh, why not? Because like you need to get a piercing, so you can be with your next boyfriend, because the Kite guy's not cutting it. Her mother even said to Kite Man when they were in the bar together, she was just like, oh, you're not good enough for my daughter, and eventually like my daughter's gonna leave you. But she said like you don't have any powers, and it's like you're not a good criminal. She said you're a nice guy, but like that's not enough. So then she was telling her daughter, she was just like, yeah, she was like, the whole thing with you and Kite Man's not gonna last too long. So then she was talking to Malice about getting piercings. So then Golden Glider was like, fuck it. She's like, if anybody's gonna get their nipples pierced, it's gonna be me. So she goes to get her nipples pierced, so she can please her mother, because she's like overly trying to please her mother. And then while she's getting her nipples pierced, Malice and her mom end up leaving and going somewhere else to take photos together. Golden Glider ends up showing up. She kicks in the door, and then she's just like, oh, you're not even trying to have a relationship. It's almost like you don't want to be with me. And her mom was like, no, I actually don't. She was like, I don't want to have a relationship with you. She's like, I didn't even want to be a mom. That's why I left after the explosion happened. And then she was just like, wait, you abandoned us? I thought something happened. You were kidnapped. She was like, no. She said that you already killed your father. She said, I didn't want to be around a bunch of kids, especially one that has some weird freaky power that could kill me at any moment. And then that's when Golden Glider was like, oh, but I have no control over this power, and it's not my fault, and I don't know what I'm doing with the power. But then her mother never explained the power. So I'm confused that like there needs to be an origin episode at some point based on like how she got this power, especially because of how the mother's acting, since the mother's just like, oh, I'm not trying to be around you with this crazy power. Like, I'm just waiting for the backstory in that to find out what actually happened. So they're arguing like all the way back to the apartment, and then when they get to the apartment, the mom was just like, hey, she was just like, your Kite guy, like he's a loser, you can do better. And she was like, I don't even want to be your mother, I'm trying to get out of here. And then she told her, she was like, where's the bathroom? Because I got to use the bathroom. And then Golden Glider basically sent her to the bathroom that has the time machine in it to get rid of her mom. So her mom went and used the bathroom, and then when her mom went and used the bathroom, you heard the time machine sound go off, and then the mom ended up in time, space somewhere, and now her mom's gone. Kite Man now, because he was spoken to the way he was spoken to by Rebecca, he ended up going to the one place where he shouldn't have gone, Hooligans, which is to try to get himself superpowers. Because Hooligans has taken over the world. They've even taken over Etrigan's shop. So now, in order for Kite Man to actually get power and prove that he's not a bitch, he has to go to the source and the person, that he's been fighting against up until this point. So but here's the interesting thing. In an effort to make his way to the president, because they said that you just don't see the president, he basically used natural, everyday, like human charm and human emotions. Like he made mitten gloves for the security guards, and when their hands were warm, they let him pass. When the dogs came out, he ended up giving them like bacon and like steak and everything, and then the dogs were happy. When he got to the secretary, he was just talking to her like, hey, how's your day? Like, how's your mom doing? How's your dad doing? And then she was just like, oh, nobody asked me how my day's been going, and then she got all emotional. He just showed her like regular basic kindness. So then when he goes into the president's, office, she watched the whole thing, and she was like, well, damn, man. She said that, you're living proof that a little kindness can go a long way. But then she was just like, if you want magic powers, because I know everything, she's like, if you want magic powers, you have to give me the one thing that I want dear. And then she said, you got to give me the one thing that means the most to you. She said, I will give you superpowers if you give me your kite. And then that's when they went on this montage where Kite Man was just like, oh, the kite has been with me since the dawn of time, since I was a child. He was just like, I love this kite more than anything. But then he was just like, you know what? He was like, I love Golden Glider more. And then he ended up giving up the kite. So then we find out that the powers that this woman gave him, she basically gave, I don't know if she gave him like psychic teleportation, like she basically Captain America'd him. Like She improved his physique. He ended up getting a little stronger. He got taller. His hair grew. But he has this weird magic power. Like when he holds up his middle finger or snaps his finger, he can like take things out of people's pockets. He can give people wedgies. He can pull their pants down. So it's almost like he took like a weird steroid. But the side effect of the power is because he has like the enhanced strength, he has like a better body, he has better hair, and he actually has a superpower. The experiment that she put on him, it got rid of all the good qualities about him, like all the kindness and the human interaction that he showed making his way to the president. She got rid of all those emotions in him, and she replaced like his heart, his love, and his kindness with like arrogance, greed, and like, you know, narcissism, which then basically turned him into Johnny Bravo. But there was a point to it, because when she did that for a reason, I don't know if she's just trying to kill like hope and love, but when he went back home, he bumped into Golden Glider. Golden Glider saw what he had become. The two of them got into an argument, and then she was just like, oh, Chuck, go back and get your original body back. And then he was like, no. He said, I like having power. I like being this buff. And then he was just like, yo, stop trying to change me. He's like, yo, you can't even have a relationship with your own mom, and you're trying to change me. And then she got mad, and then she was just like, oh, get out of my house. And I'm like, don't y'all both pay for that? Like, you can't kick him out of his own house. And then he was just like, fine, I don't want to be with your stupid ass anyway. And then he left. And then she started crying, so now she by herself. So she done chased off her mother. She done chased off Kite Man, because you would think she would be smart enough to know this isn't really who he is and he's going through something, so maybe I should try to be there for him. But because she was more concerned about her own personal emotions, like she let that get the best of him, and she chased him out. So now he's just wandering the street somewhere, and then the president is like watching him on her spy cam, and then her butler or her assistant, he was just like, oh, madam, do you think he was the best candidate for, you know, for this experiment? And then she's like, he's the perfect person for this. And then she took his kite and threw it in the fire. So she did that to him for a reason. And there's something that she wants to do, but she's going to sick him to do it instead. And him being an arrogant douchebag is going to get her whatever it is that she wants. Meanwhile, Golden Glider is still crying on the couch. When Bane realized he wasn't going to be with Rebecca, he basically called the chick that he was banging back on the Valentine's Day Harley episode. The two of them got together, and then I guess they're cool now. like I guess she's gonna be a thing going forward. She even knows, like, you know, he was like, oh, he's like, I love Becca. And then she was like, fuck Becca, get up on this, and then he got up on it. But it's gonna be an interesting thing now, because like I said, the Lex Luthor thing is still a thing. Like the Lex Luthor power thing in the freezer, that's still a thing. But the question now is, the two questions I have now is, how did Golden Glider get her power? And the president of hooligans, why does she need Kite Man to be a soulless douchebag prick? What is she after? I look forward to finding out on episode 7, hopefully. And thank you for tuning in. So like I said, so this was pretty interesting. So it's weird because like the show's getting interesting, but I don't know where it's headed. Like there's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of avenues that's going around. So I'd like to see how they tie all this together, and if any other cameos from like the Harley Quinn show make an appearance, that'd be cool. But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Let me know what you thought about this particular episode of Kite Man. Hells yeah. And we'll continue rolling on for some more goodness. Check out my other reviews, because the season finale of Suicide Squad Isekai is up on my channel. As always, I got that Cobra Kai episode 5 part 1 finale up on my channel. We're still doing that Batman Cape Crusader, and I'm also going to Anime NYC next week, so look out for video footage for that as well. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Don't be a douchebag like Kite Man, because till next time, we're out this bitch.